Are the Chicago Bulls done making offseason moves? We're going to be talking about some hypothetical signings that the Chicago Bulls might explore as the NBA season gets closer. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest. Before we jump into it, wanted to let you know that 77.2% of you that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. Make sure you mash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the latest news and happenings around your Chicago Bulls. It would mean the world to us as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers before the NBA season starts. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the hot topic of the day, which is the hypothetical signings that the Chicago Bulls might explore as the season comes near. So this article is talking about 10 free agents that are still out there. Yes, we've gone through that first wave of free agency. A lot of the salary cap is tied up, but I do like the story that this article paints, and it talks about, it talks about Derrick Jones Jr., and it talks about what he was able to do last season. It talks about the fact that Derrick Jones Jr. signed a minimum free agent contract, and here he ended into the NBA Finals, and then after that, he signed a lucrative contract that summer with the Los Angeles Clippers. So we're going to be talking about some players that the Chicago Bulls might take a look at. And keep in mind, it's hypothetical because the Chicago Bulls would, one, need to, I believe, clear a roster space, and two, they're going to have to have that player want to play on the mid-level contract, or we might have to move some money in a trade as well as clearing up a roster spot. And so let's start with the first free agent that I think the Chicago Bulls should absolutely take a look at, and that is going to be Javonte Green. I think that this is a no-brainer for Chicago fans. This guy played with a lot of energy out there, averaged 11.6 points per game, 6.2 rebounds a game, had a steal a game, but more importantly, he had career highs in three-point shooting with 35% and 48.9% from the field. And what I love about Javonte Green is he was an absolute terror on the basketball court with Alex Caruso defensively. He brings a lot of energy, and he has had some success with Lonzo Ball before when he was healthy, when we were at the top of the East before he got injured, and then obviously had that fall after that. But, you know, I think that you envision him with Josh Giddey, with Kobe White, with Dosunmu, with Patrick Williams, with Buzelis, and it just looks good. I think that this is a player that can absolutely fill the lane. I think he can knock down timely threes, and I think he's starting to trust it a lot better too. So I love that about him. And I just feel like you don't have to run a play for him. And I think defensively, he's a quarterback, and Billy Donovan, who loves to play a lot of small ball lineups, I think he can utilize Javonte Green. So I think that this is the first free agent that the Chicago Bulls should explore in bringing in perhaps closer to the season starting. All right. So the next free agent is Luke Kennard. All right. So Luke Kennard, he wants to go back to the Grizzlies, but you're looking at his shooting percentage. He shot better than 44% from three each of his last 5 seasons, and that's a welcome sight for the Chicago Bulls. That's one of the areas where we needed to really improve. We needed to get somebody that can stretch the floor, and we did not make the move to get Kevin Huerter over from the Sacramento Kings. I think that he absolutely would fit that role. We're going to need somebody that's going to knock down some shots. I just talked about the guards that we have, and I think that they're going to get a lot of paint touches. And paint touches means that you're drawing the defense in, and then you're able to kick it out. So I like a guy like Luke Kennard to come in and knock down shots. That is, if we could get him to pretty much agree to a mid-level, or we move some things around and perhaps we can get him for a little bit more than that. So that's another player that I think the Chicago Bulls might want to take a look at if he's still out there as the season gets near. The next player that I think the Chicago Bulls might want to take a look at is Lonnie Walker. I think that this guy is an athletic scoring guard for sure, but I get a lot of Buddy Hield vibes from him. And he just got traded over to the Golden State Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. But look, 25 and he's shooting 38% from the field is Lonnie Walker, 66% at the rim. So that is tremendous. So that lets you know that as he gets to the basket, he's going to be able to finish over contact, and more than likely he's going to be able to draw fouls. I like the fact that he's 25. He has some experience. He's absolutely going to fit in a lineup where we're looking to get faster. He doesn't hurt us there. And I think just like Luke Kennard, he's able to stretch the floor. He's not just a three-point shooter. And I think he's a two-way player legitimately. I think he can definitely play some defense as well. And I would love that signing if the Chicago Bulls are able to get that done. I believe he averaged right around like 9.7 points a game. So just under 10 points a game. And I think he would get some opportunity. Remember, we were thinking about bringing Jordan Clarkson over in that Utah deal and that was a hypothetical trade too as well. If they were to go ahead and trade Zach Lavine over there, I think it was like John Collins and Jordan Clarkson coming over. I think that Lonnie Walker does a lot of the things that Jordan Clarkson would do from a scoring standpoint. All right. I think he's an absolute microwave off the bench. And so you might have like a six man for sure if you bring in Lonnie Walker. So I think that's another good fit that the Chicago Bulls might want to take a look at. Next, I would say THT. I think THT went to Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's from Chicago. He's an in-between player. Like some nights he's hot at the mid-range, some nights he's knocking down threes, but he's just a hooper. And yeah, I agree with what they're saying here. It is a development project, but he's only 23 years old. And I think what's intriguing about THT is that at 6'4", he has a 7'1" wingspan. I mean, that's incredible. And so you definitely know that if he is on the team, Billy Donovan is absolutely going to utilize him. And I think that Javonte Green might be the same size, like 6'4", but they play bigger than what they are. And I think that because he's able to really just kind of be a role player in this situation with the Chicago Bulls, maybe we might see a resurgent THT. He did average 10 points a game, and I think that he was really starting to come on when he was with the Lakers. And I think that this is a prime opportunity for him to come in with an organization that is trying to retool this roster. And it's trending obviously to the youth movement, but it has guards that like to get up and run. And I think that him filling the lane, him getting some cutting opportunities and perhaps some post-ups and things like that, I think that the Chicago Bulls might be best in picking him up. They could absolutely utilize his services, even though it's going to be a little bit of a development project. But I think he could figure it out in Chicago. Lastly, this is a home run swing. This is definitely coming out of nowhere, and this is absolutely like he's not even on that particular list. But just based off what I have saw from this young man in college when he was out at USC, and then looking at him throughout the summer league as well, I think that he absolutely would be in the area of a mid-level for sure. And I'm going to say that that's going to be Isaiah Mobley, which is Evan Mobley's brother from Cleveland. He just got let go. Essentially, the Cavaliers did not put out an offer sheet for him, but 6'8", 238, averaged 18 points a game, 8.7 rebounds a game, and 3.7 assists a game. This is in the G League, and I know it's the G League, but I think that he's shown a lot of things that translate into the NBA, and I think it's just a matter of giving him an opportunity. And the reason that I put him on the list is because we didn't go draft a center. We didn't necessarily address the power forward position. And we're kind of shaky on the wing, all right? Because if we go down or we have an injury to Patrick Williams or something happens to Buzelis, then we're going to need somebody that can play that wing. And I think that he could go anywhere from 3 to 5 for me. I think that absolutely he can play those positions. You know, he's had to guard his brother Evan Mobley as well. So I think that he can absolutely do that. He had to play the 5 at USC. And so I think he knows how to operate down there. He's got more weight than Buzelis, right? Because Buzelis, I think, is barely 200. So he's 238. So he's got a little bit more muscle on him. And I think he could pull that off. And so I like him, especially when you bring a player in that might be hungry, that's trying to prove himself. And I think that it would cost us nothing to bring this young man in. And I think that it might be a pleasant surprise, actually, bringing Isaiah Mobley over. You know, I think this might be the type of signing just like a DJ Stewart, where you bring him over, you give him a chance to get into the rotation, especially with a team that's trying to find its way. And you might have found gold here. So just throwing that out there. These are players that I think the Chicago Bulls should absolutely take a look at. Again, if they can get a roster spot and if they can get the finances together. So let me know, out of these free agents, who you think the Chicago Bulls should take a look at. Should it be Lonnie Walker? Should it be Luke Kennard? You know, is it Javonte Green? Is it Isaiah Mobley? Is it THT? Is it just none of these players that I've suggested? Anyway, even though we're talking about hypothetical free agent signings with the Chicago Bulls, I'm still saying go Bulls. And as usual, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.